Hey folks, welcome back to Nadlin Forum Podcast Daily. I'm Ruby Sturt and I'm here with Leor. Leor, are you caffeinated yet?
Always, Ruby. That's the only way. Especially with numbers like today's inflation stats. So let's get straight into it. We've just seen the August CPI move up 0.4%. That's the biggest jump since January. I mean, we kind of expected some pickup, but this was a bit more than the market wanted.
Yeah, and when you look under the hood, shelter costs up another 0.4%, gasoline surging nearly 2%, all these day-to-day things where people really feel inflation. A lot of that petrol price move is coming from tariffs hitting imports, by the way, which just shows how you can't always escape those global stories even if you're living in suburbia.
And even though the annual CPI is sitting at 2.9%, I keep telling my clients that's just one layer. Core inflation, which is what the Fed really watches, excluding food and energy because they're super volatile, right? Core CPI is up 3.1% year over year. That's what really matters for people in real estate or anyone tracking long-term trends.
Absolutely. And Leor, it feels a bit like rinse and repeat, doesn't it? Like month after month, shelter is this stubborn force driving inflation higher. Reminds me of our episode on insurance costs. Different factor, but same theme. Housing is never boring.
You know, Ruby, this feels a lot like what we saw with Israeli property in the early 2010s. Prices ran wild. Then inflation pushed everyone to chase deals before they got priced out. And within months, it just flipped the whole market dynamic. Investors piled in thinking they missed the train. And then, boom. Policy changed, outlook changed, and some momentum fizzled out. Not identical, but you see the parallel. A little uptick in inflation, and suddenly real estate sentiment can swing fast.
There's always that sense of déjà vu in housing cycles. And if you look at services inflation too, it's still 3.6%. Way below the crazy peaks we had, but definitely not done causing headaches for the Fed or investors. People see easing, but honestly, any surprise like this gives markets a reason to, freak out for a day. Speaking of surprises, let's talk about that jobless claims number. Up to 263,000, highest since 2021. It's like the economy can't decide if it's hot, cold, or just plain confusing.
Yeah, you get this whiplash. For months it was, labor market's too strong, inflation's too sticky, the Fed can't cut. Suddenly, more people filing for unemployment. And now everyone's saying, maybe we're heading for a soft patch or, a wobbly few months at least.
It really makes me think back to my days looking for a job right out of uni in Sydney. There was a big wave of layoffs that year. I was spending hours scrolling job boards. No lie, my thumb might still have arthritis. Anyway, everyone around me freaked out even though the actual numbers weren't end of the world bad. And I think that's what we're seeing here too. One bad data point and the vibes shift overnight.
Exactly. The perception game takes over. For the Fed, though, this ratchets up the pressure. If the labor market cools off, people spend less, and then business momentum slows down. It's like this weird cycle. Spend less, slow hiring, more unemployment claims, and on we go.
And we know from our past episodes on mortgage rates, small shifts in these job numbers can ripple straight into those rates, right? Suddenly, people second guess their timing to buy or refinance. It's the domino effect. One thing tips another.
Yeah. Also, if you think about business owners, even those who want to hire might start to hesitate when numbers get shaky. Then you get this feedback loop. In real estate, that's when people pause, waiting for certainty that never really comes. I guess that's kind of just how real estate works. So, with inflation edging higher, but the labor market starting to wobble, everyone's watching the Fed. Markets right now are basically betting on a near certain rate cut at the next meeting. I gotta say, I haven't seen consensus form this fast in a while, but it does make sense, given what we're seeing.
Yeah, and if the Fed does go for that dovish turn, it comes with big consequences. It's not just about Wall Street, it's mortgages, it's business loans, it's investors looking to get deals done. Even a small rate move can make or break a project, especially with how tight profit margins can get. I mean, how many times did we talk about that back in our episodes on market timing and mortgage rates? Like, you've got to stay nimble.
Definitely. And in 2023, my team tracked some deals in NYC, multifamily stuff, that got derailed or suddenly revived just on Fed speculation alone. Rates would shift, underwriters would get cold feet, or suddenly approvals would fly through because everyone wanted to beat the next change. It's a live wire. Any move from the Fed goes straight through the real estate system almost immediately.
And look, for our listeners who are investors, or even just keeping an eye on where to live or work, this is where keeping your ear to the ground pays off. It can turn on a dime, and you don't want to be caught one news cycle behind because someone else will spot that opportunity before you. That goes for borrowing costs, investment timing, all of it.
And we'll keep breaking it down for you right here, because if there's one thing that's clear, it's that none of this is simple. You got to follow the data, the markets, and a bit of gut instinct. That's kind of our specialty, Ruby, isn't it?
That's right. So, if you want to stay ahead of the next twist, whether it's about the Fed, the housing market, or just avoiding mortgage FOMO, keep tuning in. Thanks for hanging out, Lior.
Always a pleasure, Ruby. Catch you next time.
See you, everyone. And until next episode, stay curious and stay savvy.